Hi guys, it's Lindsay. Welcome back to The Wandering Reader. Today I'm going to be doing my June TBR. Now, I didn't have as great a reading month in May. May's not over yet. I'm filming this on Saturday the 26th, I think it is today. So May's not over yet. But I really felt during May that I was under a lot of pressure reading wise. And it was also a really busy month at work. So I was getting home in the evenings after work and either not feeling like reading just because my brain wasn't in the right sort of space, or reading a little bit and then being way too tired to continue. So it wasn't a great reading month from that sort of point of view, but also, like I said, I felt this kind of pressure during May that I'd put a lot of books on my TBR and that I wasn't going to get to them. I had some books left over, well, one book in particular left over from April, and I didn't pick that up at all during May, and that was one of my BookTuber recommends books. I didn't get around to, or I haven't yet got around to reading the BookTuber recommends book for this month. So I've been having a think about it over the last week, and I just thought to myself, right, well, I'm just going to read my women's prize books, and then if I read anything else in May, it's just a bonus, and I shouldn't really be putting myself under this much pressure or sort of beating myself up about the fact that I didn't read the rest of my TBR. Just, oh well, I suppose. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to be reading this month. I'm going to make it a slightly shorter TBR so that, for a couple of reasons. One, because obviously I want to try and catch up on some of the books that I didn't get around to this month, but also to kind of take the pressure off a little bit. June should be a much better reading month for me. I've got a week off of work now, although June doesn't start until the very end of that week off. But things are going to slow down dramatically at work in June. Year 11 have just sat their last English exams after half term. They're kind of almost done. And then I have a lot more gained time, a lot more free time at work. Well, free time's probably the wrong word, but because I'll have lots to do, but just it will be a lot less pressured, and I'll come home hopefully earlier and feeling a bit more sort of energised and things like that. So anyway, after that massively long ramble, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be reading this month. June is definitely the month of buddy reads for me. I've got 4 that I'm going to be doing in June, and I'm so excited to do all of these buddy reads. The first of which is going to be Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I'm going to be reading this with Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand. We did mean to read this a few months ago, but it just didn't happen, and we've sort of delayed it until now. So this is one that I think I'm going to mark up and try to read a certain number of pages a day. The font is quite big, but this is basically a fantasy story focusing around a female character, and I think she goes to some sort of a school of magic or something like that. I've heard good things about it. My husband really likes it, so I'm looking forward to buddy reading that with Sarah. Next up is Far From the Tree, and this is by Robin Benway. I'm going to be buddy reading this with Lisa from Books and Smiles. She put this on her 5-star predictions list, and I sort of said, oh, I really want to read that too. I've got that out from the library. Do you want to read it? And she sort of jumped on that idea. So we're going to be reading this together in June. This is, I believe, a YA contemporary story about some siblings that come together after a long time because they were adopted by different families, and I think they're trying to work out why they were adopted and things like that. I think that's kind of what it centres around. So I've never read anything by Robin Benway before, although I think this is only her second book. Looking forward to seeing how it goes. Then I met some really lovely booktubers on the recent booktuber meetup, one of which was Emma from Emma's Bookish Lifestyle, I think her channel is, and we sort of had a chat about the fact that we wanted to do a buddy read together, and we compared Goodreads shelves, and we made the decision to read The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry together. I've had this on my shelf for at least a year and a half, and I still haven't picked it up, and this was like the Waterstones book of the year for 2016. Still haven't read it. This is a historical fiction book that's set in Essex, so very close to my heart for that reason. And it follows a woman whose husband has just recently passed away, and she moves to Essex, and it's about, I think, this little village where they believe this serpent lives in the river. And so I think it's sort of about village life and about her and her family and that sort of thing. I don't really know a lot more than that, but I have heard really good things about it. So yeah, looking forward to reading that with Emma and getting to know Emma a little bit better. And then another buddy read that came out of that BookTuber meetup was The Great Alone by Kristen Hannah, and I'm going to be reading this with Lauren from Lauren and the Books. It was so lovely to meet her. I just had one of those fangirl moments, and she'll probably laugh at this, but you know, like when you've been watching a channel for so long and they're a much bigger channel than you are as well, and yeah, I don't know, you're just in awe of what they do basically. So yeah, it was really, really lovely meeting her, and I picked this up in a very famous charity shop in London, which I can't really remember, but it's on, I think it's on Charing Cross Road, and they have like a hardback section of new sort of releases, and this was there. And so I bought a copy of this. I had got it out from the library at a very similar time, and I was meaning to read it then, but I picked this up, and Lauren said that she had a copy of that as well and would we like to buddy read together, and I jumped on that. Couldn't wait, and I still can't wait to buddy read this with her, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. Loved Kristen Hannah's The Nightingale, and this I believe is about a war veteran and his family, and they moved to Alaska I believe, and it's just about their experience in Alaska and about the fallout of him as a war veteran, and kind of, I think it's something to do with like PTSD and things like that. Sounds really good, and so I can't wait to see whether I love any other of Kristen Hannah's books. Then I'm going to be picking out my BookTuber recommends. I'm behind on my BookTuber recommends. I've still got 2 to go, one from April and one from March, but like I said, I'm hoping that June will be a month for me to catch up, but I'm still going to pick one out of here. Hopefully pick something slim. I've got one in mind that I'm desperate to read. We'll see whether that comes out. So I've got this. Oh, okay, interesting. I don't own this. This is Peace Like a River. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's basically Peace Like a River by Leif Enger, and Krista from Books and Jams recommended this. I don't own a copy of this, and I can't get it from the library either, so I'm going to be buying a copy of this from Book Depository or Amazon or something like that, and giving that a go. I think this is a historical fiction book. Don't really know much more about it than that, but this was one that Krista really enjoyed from last year, so that may be one that I read later on in the month after I've done a bit of catching up on my other ones. And then of course we've got my theme for the month, so again hoping to pick something relatively flexible out of here. So we'll give it a little... Okay, so there we go. I've picked out series I've started, so that's really cool. I'm going to go and have a little peruse of my shelves now and pick out some books that I'm in the middle of a series for. Okay, so I'm back. I picked out 6, which is probably a few too many, but at least I'll have some to choose from during the month. If I don't get to all of them, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, let's be honest now. So I'll go through what I picked out. First of all, I've got The Crown by Kira Cass. I'll probably definitely, that's not really a phrase that you want to use. I'll definitely be reading this month. It's quite short, and it's the last book in the selection series, and I've been meaning to read it for ages. This is going to be such a quick read. I didn't like the Heir quite as much as I liked the original trilogy, because I found the main character a little bit more whiny, but yeah, I'll finish off the series. It'll be a quick one to read. I've also got here City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Mortal Instruments series. I read City of Bones, I want to say maybe 2.5 years ago now, something like that. I wasn't overly enamoured by it, but people talk about this series on BookTube so much that I kind of feel compelled to carry on. So this is the second book. I have, I think, books 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6 on my shelf, and I'm waiting to get number 5, or maybe it's 6 I don't have, something like that. But I have enough to carry on basically, so I think I'll have to read a little summary of number 1. I have a few vague ideas in my mind about what it was about, but I've forgotten names and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see about that one. Then I have Cress, and this is by Marissa Meyer. This is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles. I've really enjoyed the Lunar Chronicles so far, and I've been looking at again for an excuse to pick this one up. These are really easily readable YA fantasy, and this I think is a retelling of Rapunzel, as you can see from the cover, so a bit also ties into the Lunar Chronicles world. So yeah, really looking forward to continuing on with that series as well. Then I picked out some contemporary stuff. So I've got Shopaholic Abroad by Sophie Kinsella. This is the 2nd book in the Shopaholic series. Is it just called the Shopaholic series? Yeah, it's called the Shopaholic series. So again, I think I read Shopaholic, The Secret Dream World of a Shopaholic. Is that what number 1 is called? I think so. And this is the 2nd one. So I quite like the first one. We'll see what happens with this. I've also got After You by Jojo Moyes. This is the sequel to Me Before You. And in fact, the 3rd book has just come out and I bought a copy of that. I picked this up when I was on holiday a couple of years ago and still haven't read it. So yeah, I want to see whereabouts Louisa Clark's story goes from there. And then lastly, I've got The Rosie Effect, and this is by Graham Simpson. I read The Rosie Project a few years ago now and really liked it. This is the sequel, and there aren't any more books in the series, so just a duology. So to finish it off, been meaning to pick it up for ages. I think the one thing that's been holding me back is that my husband read it and he didn't like it as much as the first one. So yeah, I think that's kind of had a little bit of influence as to why I haven't picked this one up. But like I said, I really like the first one. And we'll see whether I get around to this one. There you go guys, that's my TBR for June. Quite big again, but oh my god, I've just got lipstick on The Rosie Effect. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to be putting too much pressure on myself this month. It's just reading at the end of the day. I shouldn't be making it into anything more than just a pleasurable thing to do, basically. So yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes. If I don't read all of these, it's not the end of the world, but I am really looking forward to doing my buddy reads. I'm definitely going to be doing those. We'll see whether I catch up on any of my other books from this month and from March. And I've always got library books out as well, so we'll see whether I get any of those done. But yeah, so there we go guys. So as always, let me know in the comments below whether you've read any of these and what you thought of them. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.